All right, squad, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do some database seeding, and then we're also going to use some components to set up the actual dashboard layer for authenticated users so they can add, place, and listing. You can start setting up the skeleton for it. There's a bit of components and stuff in there, so I'll just give you a run through what that looks like. So inside of our database seeds, we're going to set up geostates, regions, and place types. We're going to seed those. And then inside of our app, we're going to go into views and the components. We're going to set up this new dashboard layout so that we can end up with something like this. And inside there, it's going to have the content, containers, left sidebar, main content, page header, etc. We're going to create all those components, create the kind of skeleton, and then be set up, ready to go. All right, let's jump in. All right, team, let's keep going. So today we are going to seed some data. I think that's quite important, just so that we can actually work through the rest of these things. So I'm going to create a list of things that we need to seed. So we need to seed place types, geo regions. Let me bump that up. Geo regions and also geo states. So states will be states in Australia, and then the regions within inside of that, and then place types so that we can create places, because that we'll move on to that soon. All right, so let's keep going. So we're gonna jump into DB seeds, and we set this up last time. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna seed, I think we'll go the states first. So we're gonna go here. So using this kind of naming convention, we're gonna go geostates.rb. I'm gonna grab whatever we had in the roles one, chuck it in here. And this is gonna be geostates, starting to seed geostates. Let's just make sure, just a debugging kind of thing here. And then so here we're just gonna go have geostates and geostate, and this will be geostate here. Now let's have a quick look at the DB, just as a refresher. So if we jump into geostates, what do we need? We need a title, a code, and a key. All right, so we've got a title, a key, and then a code. I'm just gonna clear this line out. So the first one here, let's go, we'll name this with the country code. So if I'm just building this for Australia, but if you were to build this for international, you'd have a country code. So I like to name it in that way. So realistically, it'll be like AU/New South Wales, right? And then in Australia, just be called New South Wales. And then the code would be NSW. So what we're trying to do here is similar to this table that I've done before, right? So I'm actually gonna name the title New South Wales. The key, this was just because it was just here, but I like to do AU_New South Wales because it's just in case you ever want to go wider. So we find by the key, and then we're going to set the title, and we're also going to set the code here, like that. Geostates. So to start with, in this application, we're really just going to be New South Wales. So I'm only going to seed that because that's all I want really you to be able to add. But if you were doing this Australia wide, you'd seed every state. If you're doing it in your own country, you would seed those kind of states there. So that's all good. So we can save that. Let's go and run Rails DB seed and make sure it all works. So we go Rails DB seed, chuck that in, see if we're good. Seeding states. Now let's just go have a look that we actually did do that. Public geostates, there we go. All right, we're in. So what you want to do is when you deploy this to production or any kind of environment, just to get started, even in development, if you're sharing with another dev, you just say run the Rails DB seeds, or when you do Rails DB prepare, it should do all this as well for you, and it's going to all be set up so you don't have to muck around. All right, next up, we're going to add in our number 3, and this will be geo regions. Okay. So same thing, it's very repetitive, but it just keeps it nice and simple. So we're gonna go here, geo regions, and this will be geo region. And then let's go have a look at what we want in our DB. We want the state, the title, and the key, okay? So the title and the key, and then the state here. So what I usually do is what we can do is we could go and do it in batches is one way. So you don't have to keep looking up the state. So realistically, I'd say New South Wales state is equal to geostate.find by key, and then this is going to be AU/NSW, right? So that's how we find that. And then we can say You could split this into multiple arrays. You could say like New South Wales regions, like that. But just to keep it simple for now, I'm just gonna say this one, and we're gonna say the state is New South Wales state, like that. And that will do, so we just have to be geostate, like that. All right, now we need title and a key. So the first region, I'm gonna find the proper naming here, just to make sure we have actually set these regions correctly. So give me 1 second. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at, like, we have this visit New South Wales, and then they have like destinations in the South Coast, right? So that's a region that we're gonna do here. So we're gonna go South Coast, right? And then we're gonna do the same thing. So it's like AU_New South Wales _ South Coast. That just means that when we have this key, it's quite easy to know exactly where that region is located. And then here, the geostate is New South Wales. So that's the South Coast region. And here's actually one that I prepared earlier. So another region that I also am quite interested in is the Byron Bay region. So what I'll do here is I'll also add this one up here, and the region will be Byron Bay, very famous area in Australia. So have a look at it if you haven't been before. Byron Bay. And I can actually see, I named it, naming convention was slightly, it's very small here, but it was a little bit different. I had Byron Bay _ New South Wales _ AU, which is probably a better way to write it, to be fair. So we're gonna go South Coast, New South Wales, AU. I might do the same for states. So I might go New South Wales _ AU. Now, the reason I'm thinking is I'm like, man, like maybe, yeah, it depends. If you wanted to sort, it would be easy to find all the regions. You can do it in a database quite easily though. Yeah, tough one. Do you leave it like this or this? I think I'm gonna run like this. Probably reads more like how you'd send a letter. So anyway, who knows if that'll bite me later, but don't think so. So Byron Bay, New South Wales, Australia, and it's New South Wales states, both of those, and then the South Coast. So these are the kind of regions that I'm building this app for right now. So I just want to do that. You could seed heaps, but the fewer options there, easier for the user to add anyway. All right, so we're going to go through the regions. We're going to find the region by the key. Then we're going to update the title, and that's it. We also need to set the state. So we're going to just set that here. Geostate is equal to geostate. Now, what we need to do is just make sure that we have set up our models for our region belongs to geostate. That's what I wanted to check. So that's good. All right, finish seeding geo regions. Now let's go and have a look. Run seeds again. Hopefully we get no errors. Nah, there's a problem. Undefined method geostate for geo. Oh, okay, yep. We have to change this here to geo region. All right, now we're gonna just run that, run the seed again, boom, done. Check it, there we go. All right, so we've seeded those, excellent, let's keep going. Next up, the place types. So, I hate it when it does that. We're gonna go here, 004 place types .rb. Same thing, copy paste. All right, so place types. All right, so place type in our DB is just a title and a key. All right, so we don't need this guy. We're gonna go place types. We'll kill that one there. That's place type. And this is place type, so we don't get the Crimea River for next time. Only a title. Okay, so find by key title. All right, so place types. Okay, so the first thing for a place type is we're gonna just go with a town, right? So that's gonna be a town. I think that's really, the other ones are like other places. What we could do is like, you can do stuff like beach. But I think for now, realistically, what I'm trying to do here is we all have a town or like a destination. I mean, you could even call it a destination. But I mean, a destination is probably too broad. So a beach or a town. So what type of place is it that you can go to? So for instance, we're gonna go region, South Coast, place, Kiama, town, right? So that's a town. And so that'll allow us to create those. So for now, I think that's fine. The other ones that we wanted to also use is I think we were going to use the same stuff for listings, but like, well, not account, it's going to be accommodation. I hope I've spelled that right. I think it's either one. Yep, that's accommodation. So it could be an accommodation. Here's another thing. It could be a restaurant or a cafe. So it's like food. Like a nature walk or something to do. So all those kind of things are place types, but like you leave that to your imagination. You can fill that with whatever you need. I'll probably do it over time, but for now, I think these three are the main three that we want. Place type dining, is dining a thing? But yeah, anyway, we'll fill that up later. Okay, so let's, we've saved that off. Let's now go and run it. Rails DB seeds, no errors, wonderful. Let's have a look. There we go, we got our thing. All right, so we've successfully seeded the data we need now to be able to keep moving on, because the first thing that we needed to do was create places. So let's see if we can do that. And that'll be for admins only. So jumping in, we can see we're logged out here, so we probably have to just sign in. And then we need to make sure we have an admin role. So let's just have a look at any users set to admin roles. Ken at email is an admin, all right? So we're gonna do that. Log in. All right. This isn't right. We need to check what's going on there. It keeps saying not correct. So let's have a look. So that's in our views, controllers, V1, home, index. And that's living in our navigation bar component, which is great. We've set that up. Now, logged in user component. Okay, so it's current user. Why is that not actually being set? If user.present. Interesting. I wonder why that's actually happening. I know what it is. Silly me. So what we've got here is we made a little change, and this is a little gotcha, is that on the home controller, we skip this action, right? And that action is actually what's setting this here, right? So we've skipped this because we wanted users to be able to obviously see this being not logged in, which is correct. But what we can do here is probably create another method. I think probably cleanest, because the only thing is I don't know how to run an action in here. But what we could do is we could say authenticate without redirect. And you could call it whatever. It could even be like a soft authenticate, but like I think that's really clear here. So it's going to be, let's just create an option here. We're going to go options, and then we're going to say else if, or maybe let's just say redirect unauthenticated equals true. Right, so we're going to say else if redirect unauthenticated, we're going to redirect there. So now what we can say, authenticate without redirect is just going to be authenticate, and this is going to be false. I think that's going to work. I do like having named params here just to make it cleaner. So we might go options, and then here I'm just going to say is equal to defined redirect unauthenticated, or skip redirect. Right, so we're going to basically say if that's defined, use whatever set, otherwise default it to true. And I think that's the right word. Let me just check it. So what I've done here is I've changed this to skip redirect comes from options skip redirect or false. And then I've said down here, redirect sign in path unless skip redirect, right? And then what we're going to have here is just authenticate without redirect. And that's just going to be skip redirect true. Right, so I'm just gonna have this method here. So what we can then say in the home controller, right? So that is basically anything in here. We're gonna say before action is this one. So we're always gonna skip, let's do it here. So we're gonna grab the skip this one, put in the base. So we're always gonna skip the authenticate, but what we wanna do instead is we wanna run our authenticate without redirect. And this one, okay? All right, let's see if that works. There we go. So now we're authenticating the user. And if they're there, we're gonna have the current user. If they're not there, we're not gonna redirect them, but they're gonna just stay signed out, right? So that's just a way to allow unauthenticated access to this page, but we still wanna know who that user is. Perfect, so that's great. All right, so we can now move on, finally. So I think what we should do is quickly add a little link to the dashboard inside of our view components logged in user. I mean, for now, it can almost just be a link to here, because we'll come style this all later. And I guess it's just dashboard. And then this will be V1. Let's grab that. I like to just grab it from the routes. So Rails routes, dashboard. So let's go to the V1 dashboard listings path. There's dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that. So now when you're logged in, it just says dashboard here, right? So we're going to click that, and now that's the admin page, okay? Excellent. Let's keep going. So what I want to do first is I want to quickly create a new component, right? So I want to create like a little sidebar here, because we're going to have like a whole admin layout, which is different to the normal standard basic layout. So I'm imagining a sidebar here. So I'm going to copy a few little ideas. Let's just see also what we've done with the layouts here. So in V1, we've got application layout, which is just literally a body. That's cool. That's simple enough. So we could have an a dashboard layout as well, which is probably something that we could do as well. Because we don't need to load in any special fonts. Yeah, let's do that. So let's copy this whole guy, because then we can also learn how layouts work. We're gonna go dashboard.html.erb, and this is gonna be luxury stays dashboard. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is inside of this controller dashboard, we want to set the default layout. Okay, so in our base controller, we've already done it here, but what we're going to do in the dashboard controller is we're going to go default, or the layouts, V1 layouts, and it's going to be called dashboard. Now when I save that, if I refresh, you can now see we've got the dashboard title up here. So that's just saying happy days, but realistically we haven't done anything yet. So we still need to create like a sidebar and all that. So we'll keep moving. So we need to, I think we're going to create the layout section first. Okay, to create a view component, let's go. We're going to go Rails G view component, and it's going to be dashboard layout. All right, so that's going to be a component to control the whole layout. So we got that now. I'm going to do a lot of copy pasting just because I don't want to waste time. But if we go into, it's always a little bit hard in this zoomed in view, dashboard layout component, here it is. I'm going to grab what I've got before. So this is for modals, a turbo frame here for modals, which we'll leave in. Here's a toast, which we probably want to add in. We don't have that right now, so let's just quickly create it so it doesn't cry. We're going to go review component, and we're going to call it a toast, so we can show toast notifications. That's always good. Cool. Toast container, and then here, so we've got, don't need this color. It's flex column. On large, it's a row. So in mobile, it's going to go vertical. Here we're going this way, and it covers the whole page. It's quite simple, but the main key pieces that we're injecting are these, the modal and the toasts. All right, so what we want to do first is go into our V1. We're going to need to have our listings view. So it's dashboard listings. And then in here, what we're going to now do is we're going to wrap all of this in a dashboard component. To do that, we're going to just get rid of all this because it's not useful right now. And we're going to chuck in this. So what it is it's the dashboard layout component, and we're passing through the notice and alerts from Rails when we set them through there so they can be rendered in a toast, okay? That's all that we're doing there. And then our content inside here is dashboard. All right, so if we refresh now, what is the problem? Alert, undefined variable alert. That's because we just need to define it in our component. So here, we just need to set these two. So we're gonna have option alert and option notice. There we go. It's just asking us to add our toast template. That's fine. And here's the dashboard component or the content. So what I'm gonna just do for now is our toast is I'm just gonna tell it not to render. It's a cool little handy method there, render, and you can return a Boolean and job done. That should go away. Cool, excellent. Now what we wanna do is we wanna actually set up the sidebar. So let's do that. So that's Rails G view component again. And then we're gonna call this one left sidebar because we never know, we might end up with the right sidebar in the future. So smash that out. Sorry, I need to delete that because I need to put it inside the dashboard layout. Get rid of you, sir. Go into here. So we want to go dashboard layout / left sidebar. Okay, so it's nested in there. I want it it belongs to that guy. Okay, so we are going to pretty much always render this. What I'm thinking is we could actually put this component here inside of the dashboard layout. So we're going to render a component, and it's going to be dashboard layout / left sidebar. I'm just trying to think. That's probably not the best spot for it, because if we want to control, this is really our main navigation. Yeah, I might change this actually. I might Rails G view component. I'm gonna call one main navigation component. Need to spell that right. Okay, so we're gonna go, let's just stick that. So we're gonna go main navigation. So that'll live here and that will actually be unchanged. And I might move this later, but I'm just, at the moment, main nav is kind of something that's fixed. The left sidebar that lives inside of this could be an additional sidebar that can change based on context. But for now, actually, I think that's a little bit too complex for this app. I don't think we actually need that. So we're gonna just go here into the main nav and we'll work on that. Let's just see that that actually works. There's the main nav template. So the main nav template, we're gonna use the aside tag. That's actually what they are for, I believe. And we're gonna go here, class. And then in here, we're gonna start creating it. So I'll just grab some styles because this is like, we're just gonna say main nav. So I've just jumped some class here. So the main things we need to look out for is we're calling this a group. So this is the main nav group. So we can control like data things. We don't need this guy. We're given an ID. It's the height of the screen. It's fixed. It's got a border right. It's flex column, so it runs this way. It's not hidden. I guess that's for mobile. It's hidden in mobile. It's a flex in medium screens, which is fine because you're probably doing a mobile nav later. Flex padding 4, width 48, Z50, so it stands right at the front. Let's see what that does. Boom, there we go. Main nav. So now you can see one thing we have an issue is the dashboard contents, because this is fixed, it's now like sitting in. So we really need to indent the, I mean, I wonder if we even have to do fixed. We could probably just do that. And that'll probably work for our use case right now anyway. So it disappears on medium screens. So, I mean, we can even say small screens, it's there. Where does the dashboard content go though? Down there. I wonder why it's jumping down there. Okay, so let's just see. That's the main nav there. Okay, so that's cool. So we can chuck our logo in there and we can do some cool styling here. So let's just go for now. Let's run. Are we going to run them as I'm just thinking of, do we do UL or not? I'm just going to have a look at what I've done in the past. No, so let's create them as components just for fun, because while we're making components, why not? So we're going to go main navigation / link. All right. And that'll create it in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say component main navigation / link. And then title, we're going to go places. All right. So we need to just go here, and then this is going to have a title. Option title. There we go. If I can type, bang that in. Because what I will have here is like an icon plus the title, but realistically, I'm just going to render out this now. Okay. Places. Excellent. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have, what else could you have? You could have listings. What else is there in, realistically, that's all we're going to have, like in the beginning. Bit lame, but that's fine. What I want to do too is also get the logo. Did we create a component for the logo? It'll be in the header. Where are you, son? You are in land. No, where do we put that? Content wrapper? No. Main navigation bar. Here we go. So let's get the logo. Okay. So grab that. I'm gonna stick it here. Do we have a gap? No. So there's our logo, which is a bit, probably want like a more of a smaller logo there. And then in here, we're gonna have a div, because I want to give this a flex with and flex col, and I want to give it a gap of 4 maybe to give these guys some breathing room. That's too much. 2. Yeah, maybe even gap 1, to be honest. And then what we're going to do here is we're also going to give it a margin top of like 8, so that we can push those links down. Excellent. And then also these links, we're probably going to go, do we link the whole thing? Let me have a look. Yeah, so I've done this before, so I'm just going to copy paste it. What we want to do, so we don't have a dark mode, don't have a hover. That's all fine. We don't need this. I'm gonna remove all the hover states and stuff because I haven't actually defined, we haven't created like a color scheme yet. Haven't created this. We don't have selected, and then the path here. So what we do need to have is the path. So that'll be the link path there. And we will add an icon as well. So what are we missing? Path. Okay, so we just need to add them in here. So path will be, we can just do that for now. But this is where we'll have like the V1 listings path, etc. So we will grab that. And then we're going to add the places one in a second. There we go. So those are linked. Those are both linking to the same place. Great. We also want an icon. So using something like, you can add that later. You can add that later. That's adding more complexity than what we need right now. And then here's where basically we're going to create our dashboard, and I'm designing this all on the fly. So it's a bit tough, but I think we're going to probably give this some sort of padding. I think, on desktop, because it feels like obviously this is too close and stuff. So let's just jump into our dashboard layout. And then what we do is we're going to create a main content area. So that's going to be, actually, we're going to go with a content container. So we're going to go Rails G view component, and it's going to be dashboard layout / content container. Okay. That's this guy. And then I'm going to grab one that I've done in the past. So we don't have header content at this stage. I mean, we could do header content container, and then main content. So realistically, let's have a look. So we're going to go content container. I think something like this will be the best for now. So we're going to add that in. So we've got our main content and our sidebar content, and then our header content. Okay, so let's show you how that sets up. So in here in the content container, we have this kind of guy. So you can see it renders one content container. It renders one header content and main content. And here we're saying this is the component to use to render that. So we need to create these. So it goes dashboard layout page header. So dashboard layout / page header, and then dashboard layout / main content. I believe, yep. Okay, create those two. Now what we can see is we'll save that out, and then back on our page, and not this guy. Where's our actual page? This one. We're going to now render inside of this guy. We're now going to render dashboard layout / content container. Okay. So that's basically, we're defining the container, which will be able to have a header, body, and then a sidebar here if you wanted to in the future, but we're just going to run the header and the body. Let's see if it doesn't crash. Sidebar content. Let's see what's going on. And it's a little bit difficult with here. So let's just go here. Sidebar yeah, okay, so we don't have that yet. Okay, gone. There we go. All right, so we're not seeing anything, which is awesome. But it's the main content that we need to render now. Okay, so in our index, we're just going to go do, and then we're going to say component here. And we could just say content container, right? Just so it's easier to reference. And then what we're doing now is, because we've created these slots with like main content, etc., we can now do the different things. So it's going to render a header. So we're going to do this. We're going to go here. We're going to go content container with header content. Now, remember, we've assigned header content to the header component. So this is going to take props for that. So we're going to say here title listings, right? Just for now. So that's the header content. So if we jump in here to our page header, it's going to take a title. And this is here. So now we can name this as the header, so it's easier to debug inside of Chrome. And basically class flex, we're gonna have a border bottom. And then we're gonna just render the title here for now. There we go, awesome, sick header. Obviously does not exactly what we want, but that's kind of giving you the point. So we can now, we've told the content to always use for header this component. So we don't have to pass it through every time, and it knows that we can take props and it'll pass them straight to this component. So whatever props or params we give or options we give to this, they get passed straight through, right? So if you look at how we're using it, You can see we're just saying with header content. It knows to use the right component. Then we're saying use the title. So it's just a little bit less boilerplate. So that's all we're doing here with the header content right now. And then down the bottom, we're gonna have with main content, all right? So we have two slots in our content component, one for header and one for content. So this is the main content now. So this is where we can actually write, what am I done? So wrong number of arguments. Component with main content container. I might even rename that to just container. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you can see how that's working. And then the main content is actually rendering inside of this main content guy here, and it's just this, you can see it here. But what we can just do instead is, for now, we're gonna just render out content, yeah? And then that will spit out what we had written there, okay? So that's how we're doing it. That's how basically our dashboard layout. So we also probably want a sign out button in here, but now we'll be able to start in the next video, have a look at how we can actually create, show the listings in here, and then also show them how they're scoped. But also the first piece we want to actually do is add places. We want to add places before we add listings, and we only want this to show if the user is an admin. All right, so there's a few little other pieces we want to do, but I don't want to blow out this video, so I'll continue on the next one. Catch you guys then.